God dear, I don't want to go in. So look at this rose. It has gone absolutely bonkers. Been an absolute disaster this year, and I've got one cob. That's all I managed to harvest. I've been contemplating for some time now what on earth to do about my honeysuckle. Now if you look behind, you can see that it's had a massive leaf drop. It is not happy where it is. This is the third summer that it's been in this position, and it has just not thrived. Now the idea was that it would cover both trellises and make a really nice little cosy private area, but it's never happened. Now for a while, both last spring and the previous spring, it looked promising. It had a lot of leaf growth. It was starting to cover all of this trellis. This year it started to cover the second trellis, but then it just gets to a certain point and then it just starts shedding leaves and looking really sickly. It doesn't matter what I try, nothing seems to resolve the issue. So I've been contemplating all week, wondering what on earth I could do. I didn't want to just dig it up and chuck it away, but I couldn't think for the life of me where else I could put it in the garden in the hope that it might thrive. But I think I might have come up with a solution. So let me show you my thoughts. Okay, so this is the back bed, and I don't think it's ever reached its potential. Now I put these raspberries in, and they've had quite a bit of growth, but they just didn't produce much in the way of fruit. And now they're taking over the bed because they're putting out runners that I don't want. So I've decided I'm going to sacrifice the raspberries. They're not working for me. They're taking up valuable space in a garden where I've got limited room to grow. I've also got this sage, this ornamental sage, hot lips. There's two here. I keep pruning it back, but this has got absolutely enormous. And I think I said last year I was going to dig up one, divide it and put it in the front garden, but I just never got round to it, and then I left it too late. So I think in the autumn, one of these is coming out and will be divided up and put in the front garden. And then if I remove the raspberries as well, that's going to free up this bed. I've got a courgette in here at the moment, and it's okay, but it's getting a little bit crowded. So my plan is, if I put some trellis on this back fence, and I'm going to dig a deep hole in that corner of the raised bed, I'm going to fill it with a mixture of soil improver and topsoil to give it a really good foundation, and that's where I'm going to plant the honeysuckle. And hopefully this is a sunnier spot, it won't have soggy roots, and it can climb on the fence. So that's my plan. So now I need to start removing the raspberry. The first cut is the deepest. Okay, so I've just emptied a bag of topsoil into this wheelbarrow, and I've just been running my hands through it just to break up any sort of compacted lumps, but it is a lovely texture. It's quite sort of sandy, and I think that will hold the moisture and aerate nicely, so it'd be great for root growth. But I'm also going to add to it a bag of soil improver. Now this is made up of, I believe it's 50% farmyard manures and composted bark, and composted bark is kind of a grade down from leaf mould, so it'll be an added bonus for the bed. It'll have a lot of nutrients in it, and it will retain moisture, and hopefully the combination of both will give the honeysuckle a good foundation to develop its roots and hopefully thrive where it hasn't over that side of the garden. So let me get blending and get this bed ready. Now this soil improver is much darker, but it's lovely and crumbly. So hopefully this should have plenty of bacteria in it as well, which is what you need. You need those microorganisms to process the compost and turn it into nutrients. Now I don't want to put too much in the wheelbarrow at once, otherwise one, I won't be able to lift it. I don't want it spilling all over my gravel. So the bed is all prepped. So what I need to do now is to cut the plant at the base to free it, remove everything from the trellis that's going in the council compost bin, and then hopefully if it doesn't rain, because it is threatening, I'll be able to get it planted up in that corner, and then it'll be the case of sitting tight and waiting to see if it sends out new shoots and if it's happier in its new position. This is cleared now. It does look bare. So I need suggestions of what I can put here in its place. I'm a little bit nervous about doing this, but it had a good drink last night and I've just given it another drink. just got to hope I can get it out. Oh, it's difficult to get purchased because there's just not the room. Crikey, that took some effort. It's left a bit behind, which I'm going to have to get out somehow. But I've managed to lift it. That was pretty brutal. I hope it survives. So this hole's had a good soak. I'm going to put some mycorrhizal fungi on the roots to try and help it. And I just need to backfill all this soil around the roots. I shall give it a good drink. Hopefully that will settle the soil around those roots. And then if it sinks a bit, I can come back and cover it a bit more and give it another drink. Well, I'm pleased that job's done, so that's another one off the list. So other changes to the garden this week are in this bed next to me where I took out the squash. I've also removed all the corn now. I only had 4 sweet corn plants. They've been an absolute disaster this year, and I've got 1 cob. That's all I managed to harvest, but nevertheless, one is better than none. Another change, I cleared the brassica bed, so I've now harvested my very last cabbage, and I'll let you know at the end of this video what I do with it. But the 2 cauliflowers that are in there, I made a really lovely and tasty aloo gobi, and what made it special for me was that it was made with all the ingredients from the garden. So it was the cauliflowers, potatoes, garlic, chilli and tomatoes. So yeah, that was a really nice meal. Now, throughout the summer I have cut back the rows several times, but boy, you want to see it now. So look at this rose, it has gone absolutely bonkers, and no wonder it's classed as a rambling rose, because it is rambling everywhere. It's going in all directions, and some of those shoots are huge, so I need to tame it by cutting it back and keeping it nice and tidy. I'm really pleased that the rose is nice and tidy now. But just taking a quick look around the garden, there's been some subtle changes. So September begins next week, and the beginning of autumn. And this bed, this was the brassicas. This has now been cleared. I don't think I'm going to put anything in it until next year, early next year. So I just need to source some cardboard, I think, and cover that up. Turning around, I've earthed up the potatoes. Oh, I spent another quarter of an hour, 20 minutes, and I managed to dig up the last bit of the hollyhock. It came out with quite a lot of roots, so I've planted that over in the corner with the other piece. Let's walk over there. So both pieces are in now, but I don't think I'm going to bother putting any trellis up yet. I'm just going to hang tight, wait and see if it starts to produce any shoots, because it doesn't look very good at the moment. If it does start to put out some shoots, I will definitely get some trellis to put on this fence, but I'm not going to spend any pennies doing it now, just in case it doesn't work. But Once the courgette's finished and is out, and once the hot lips is moved, then this will be another freed up bed. Of course, lettuce are bulking up now. I've been picking the salad leaves, but I've noticed the cabbage white butterflies have been all over them today, so I'll have to inspect those to see if they've laid any eggs. Still got some purple basil there. And these tomatoes, I think hopefully they'll start to ripen soon. There's some small changes all around. This bed here, this is where I lifted the sweet corn. I think what I'm going to do is transplant all the strawberries into here and sort out the runners. I've got quite a few runners that need potting up. So as you can see, the garden has taken on quite a few subtle changes over the past couple of weeks. And as we sort of approach autumn, then the days are going to become shorter and the light levels lower. But you know, there are still some harvests to be had. I think my focus going forward now has got to be all about the soil. I need to amend it and bring up the fertility. I've got some low maintenance jobs to do around the garden. I want to do some pruning and obviously some tidying up, but just to get the garden through the winter months and ready for spring. So I think that's it for now. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Now, incidentally, it is Sunday the 31st of August tomorrow, and I'm going to Gardeners World Live at Audley End in Essex. So if any of you are going at all, then pop me a comment below. Maybe we could meet up at some point and have a coffee and a natter. I'd love to see you. So take care everybody, and if you are new to my channel then please consider subscribing. I'm Annie and this is my kitchen garden.